Which is why, for those of you who've been watching this channel previously, I've mentioned this before, but as a business and as a family, our relocation plans, our relocation from Europe, Tousi TV, is now being implemented. The plan is going ahead. Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tousi TV. This is your global news channel. I'm Tousi, and we come to you guys with some breaking news from our Tousi TV team in France, as our documentary team and reporters have now been arrested by the French authorities for simply doing their job, doing journalism and exposing the illegal migrant crisis in Europe. I'm going to give you guys all the information that we have so far on this issue. And of course, we have been in touch with the British Embassy and the rest of the establishment legacy media. But there are a number of things to talk about in terms of Emmanuel Macron's government and what they have been doing in order to stop the truth from coming out. And of course, in cooperation with the British government under the leadership of Keir Starmer. Earlier this morning, our team was sent there to Calais yesterday in order to film a documentary about the illegal migrants crossing the English Channel from Calais, from France, into England. Very simple. Not to cause trouble, not to do anything illegal, to simply do our job. We have our documentary, our team to actually do the filming. We have our reporter there and security. I'm going to talk about that. And this is part of our Tousi TV Plus project, of course, our independent streaming service, which is on Tousi.tv. And of course, we also have our Tousi TV app. We have all the documentaries. We've done a lot of these things. We've worked with the authorities when needed. The problem we now have is that when it comes to France, which is supposed to be a democratic republic, not North Korea, there doesn't seem to be any rule of law. There doesn't seem to be any sanity, any common sense from the French government, because they don't want the truth to come out. Now, to clarify, there are currently no laws in place around Calais to stop any level of filming, documentaries, reports, journalists, whatever. At times, they do impose restrictions. Not right now. But it seems like the authorities in France can either go rogue, or perhaps there is still an order coming from the top. Because this happens. Emmanuel Macron's government, who have been lying to Britain, saying, we have taken your money, because the British government, using British taxpayers, they've been funding the French in order to stop the boats coming from Calais to Kent. He keeps saying, we are doing our job. He keeps saying, we are stopping the boats. We simply wanted to go and prove that the boats are not being stopped. Somehow they don't want the truth to come out. Now, in terms of the details, a couple of things to go through. Our team were arrested around 10:30 in the morning today. They were actually stopped yesterday, last night, when they arrived in France. The authorities at the time had a problem with our security team. Of course, we have to send security with our team of journalists because it's Calais. Firstly, it's France in general, it's chaos. Secondly, around the migrant camps, anything could happen. These illegal immigrants coming from North Africa and the Middle East, they are armed, they have weapons, and they are allowed, they can do whatever they want in the so-called jungle. in Calais. They got migrant camps. They can do whatever they want. Now, they had a problem with our security. Everything was fine. This morning, they came for our team. About 5 people have now been arrested. 4 or 5 people have been taken. No explanation. No charges have been brought forward. Their phones have been confiscated. Their items have been taken. They're not telling us. They're not even telling them what they've done wrong. On what ground? That's the other big problem. Because they've been, keeping them for hours now without charging them. Of course, there is a limit. We have informed our lawyers and the British Embassy. We are not going to stop until we rescue our team from the third world, that is France, right now. The face of the documentary, who was supposed to be the main presenter, is Nicholas Lysak. Our good friend Nicholas, who also posted this yesterday, saying, I won't be at this weekend's Free Iran rallies in London as I am abroad filming a documentary. But Lions, my heart and spirits roar right there with you, wherever you stand. Free Iran, King Reza Pahlavi, Javid Shah, watch this space. This documentary is going to be wild. Now, Nicholas and the rest of the team, they've done literally nothing wrong. And the reason we can say that is because the police in France have not even charged them. Now, Nicholas has the legal team to, I think that they've told there was a big problem over the last few minutes just before we came live, because the French authorities also have a bad habit of lying, just like their president. They have lied to our lawyers about half an hour ago, claiming that Nicholas, at least, not the rest of them, just Nicholas, has been released, while our reporter is still sitting in jail. What's the point of lying? We're going to find out within 2 minutes. Not really sure exactly what they're up to over there. We don't even know if they know what they're doing right now. All we know is that this is an assault on basic journalism. This is an assault on Tousi TV. And of course, the United Kingdom. Because they know that the team is UK based and they came from England. Our good friend, the British barrister, Stephen Barrett, I've been speaking to him. I've been speaking to the head of the Free Speech Union, my good friend Toby Young, and also a couple of other journalists. They've all been quite helpful. Stephen Barrett, who's also been part of Tousi TV Plus, by the way, posted this, and he said that to me personally as well. They do this deliberately on a Saturday, knowing it is almost impossible to get a French lawyer. Macron and Starmer are scum who conspire to import racists and murderers into our country. Both belong behind bars. Now, let's not forget that Emmanuel Macron is not going rogue against people or journalists from Britain. He is very closely cooperating with the British Prime Minister and the Labour Party, Keir Starmer. They are very close. There's been no rows, no clashes between the UK and France since the Labour Party formed the government. Before that, when the Tories were in charge, the French and the British were clashing all the time. Not anymore. So this is not Emmanuel Macron making a move, for example, against the British government by doing this. They know what's going on. Both governments are absolutely fine with this. We've had our own issues in Britain. Myself, personally, and also Tousi TV as a business. I've been arrested. I've been threatened with bigger arrests, which luckily didn't happen. Then the time when they threatened to arrest me, but they didn't, for simply filming at a protest in London, one of the so-called Palestinian protests. The police took my details, and somebody from the police in London leaked our details, my personal details, and our Tousi TV reporter Nia Korbani and Mark Burbeck, our friend. Now, that person who was working with the police, the Metropolitan Police, has been arrested. Their case has gone to CPS, but that doesn't really change anything, doesn't really fix anything, because the police in the UK constantly make things hard for us as a business here at Tousi TV, but also me as a person. They've tried their best, the British government, to introduce even more censorship laws. Now, legally, they introduced the legislation last year to get Ofcom, which is the broadcaster regulator, which was supposed to be regulating the BBC, Sky News, the actual legacy TV channels. They've been given them extra powers to be able to censor online channels like Tousi TV and YouTube channels. The only good thing about this is that British bureaucracy is almost as bad as French bureaucracy, which means that even though the legislation came in place last year, Ofcom has still not been able to implement it yet. They have a whole list, a selected list of online channels, including Tousi TV, but they haven't been able to fully enforce their own laws. But that's coming in the next few months. Which is why, for those of you who've been watching this channel previously, I've mentioned this before, but as a business and as a family, our relocation plans, our relocation from Europe to Tousi TV is now being implemented. The plan is going ahead. I did mention a while ago that we have a backup plan. We might not be able to stay in the United Kingdom and in Europe in general. And we are moving. Remigration from Tousi TV.
This house is sure gone crazy.